So we read the prompt, and once we read the prompt, we understand that the conclusion of this paragraph is the profits of the Hollywood restaurant are going to increase, right? So this argument is saying that the profits are going to increase. And to get the profits to increase, the argument is saying that we should replace some of the Hollywood seating with high tables. And so the argument is saying that there's some kind of relationship between replacing seating and increasing profits. And the reasons it gives for this relationship is firstly, the customers who like to watch the celebrities would prefer those tables. And then two, it's saying that diners seated on stools typically do not stay as long as diners seated as on standard height table. So first we need to understand this argument, right? We need to understand why this makes sense. So the first thing is, why would customers who watch celebrities preferring these taller tables and stools, why would that contribute to profits? Well, maybe it makes the restaurant more popular, right? So it makes sense that if you do something that makes the restaurant more popular or that your customers prefer, you might get more customers, they might spend more money, this might increase your profits. So that makes sense. The second one, tall table diners don't stay as long. If a diner doesn't stay as long, you can get more diners through the doors of your restaurant. You can serve more diners every day, and essentially you can make more money because you essentially have more customers within the day. So that also makes sense. This question is asking, what are the flaws in this argument, right? So this is saying the argument is vulnerable to criticism on the ground that it gives reason to believe that it is likely that. So essentially, in the answer choices, there's going to be one answer that will make this argument weak, right? So we want to kind of, before we even look at the answer choices, in our mind really quickly, think about what that could be. One thing that it could be is there might be some evidence that this relationship doesn't exist, right? So customers who watch celebrities, them preferring taller tables, there might be some reason that even if you made it so that there are tall tables and they prefer those tables more, you might not get more customers, right? So there might be one of those things that makes this relationship false. And the next thing that could happen is this relationship could be false, right? So, our hypothesis before that you're able to get more customers through the doors, that might not be true. If this previous argument gives some reason to believe that one of these relationships doesn't exist, then that is some reasoning on which this argument could be criticized. So let's look at the answers. The first one, some celebrities come to Hollywood to be seen, and so might choose to sit at the tall tables if they were available. So this is actually, a good thing. It might even contribute to increased profits. And this really doesn't say anything about our arguments. And we already recognize that the right answer is going to do one of two things, right? It's going to affect one of those two relationships. The second one is, the price of meals ordered by celebrities dining at the Hollywood compensates for the longer time, if any, they spend lingering over their meals. So this isn't really applicable to the overall profits of the restaurants. And, we already talked about those two relationships. And so this doesn't affect either of those relationships. So that's wrong. See, a customer of the Hollywood who would choose to sit at a tall table would be an exception to the generalization about lingering. So to understand this, what this is saying is that somebody who chooses to sit at a tall table would be an exception to the generalization that if you sit at tall tables, you won't linger. Okay, so this makes sense. So if you're a customer and you like watching celebrities and you go to this restaurant, even if you're sitting at a tall table, you're going to sit there for a long time, right? So this is actually working against our idea of putting in tall tables so that people don't stick around for a long time. People might actually stick around for a long time, right? Especially these customers that like to watch celebrities. And so if we go back to the relationships we talked about, this is directly affecting this relationship. tall table diners don't stay as long, contributing to profits. We know that's not true because tall table diners might stay as long, right? And this argument actually gives us reason to believe that, because this argument is saying these customers that like the tall tables like to watch celebrities. This is actually something that severely weakens this argument. D, a restaurant's customers who spend less time at their meals typically order less expensive meals than those who remain at their meals longer. Okay, so what this is saying is that if a customer is sitting at a tall table and they leave really quickly, even if you get a lot more of those customers, that doesn't necessarily mean that you make more money, because those customers might order less expensive meals, and this is saying they typically order less expensive meals. However, even if they order less expensive meals, that doesn't mean this relationship between them not staying as long and the profits is false. That relationship still could be very true. Even if they're paying less money per customer, if you have 10 times as many customers and they're only spending 50% as much money, that's still more money that you're making. So this is wrong, because this doesn't tell us that that relationship isn't true. E, with enough tall tables to accommodate all the Hollywood's customers interested in such seating, there would be no view except of other tall tables. Well, this doesn't matter, right? Because what relationship this might affect is the relationship between customers who watch celebrities prefer tall tables and profits. And this is saying maybe if all the tables are tall, then customers who watch celebrities might not prefer those tables. But keep in mind, this is saying if the Hollywood replaced some of its seating. We don't necessarily need to have enough to accommodate all the Hollywood's customers. We're just saying we might replace some of the tables. So this doesn't affect either of those relationships. C is the right answer.